Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Virgin to Me. Today, we are going to discuss the top common mistakes people make when booking Virgin Voyages and sailing on Virgin Voyages. So it's a little combination of both. But I've got my cheat sheet here again to remember what they all are, and we're going to talk about them. So, right down to the nitty gritty. The first one is not knowing what's actually included in Virgin Voyages. We want to make sure that you know exactly what's included because that's where you could spend extra money, right? So let's talk about first and foremost that the Wi-Fi is included. Has it all changed? Yes, it's all changed. They're now charging for Wi-Fi, but basic Wi-Fi is still included. And that basic Wi-Fi really just gets you talking to your family at home or answering an email or possibly, messaging someone back on instant message on Facebook. What it does not get you is like streaming, downloading anything on Facebook. Like you're not uploading any pictures to Facebook, none of that. But it does get you your basic. If you have an iPhone, you can talk back and forth. You can use WhatsApp. So that does help. If you want to shut off from the world, then definitely pick that basic Wi-Fi. So that is included instead of actually having to buy, extra Wi-Fi. So if you really want to shut off, do the basic Wi-Fi. But pretty much everything else is included. So there's no main dining halls, no buffets, and no drink packages. That's a really big difference. And that is all included. So people don't usually recognize that there's no main dining halls. The specialty dining is included, which is nice. And the no main dining hall is nice because I like that. And no buffets. So all restaurants are included, but specialty coffee, smoothies, and alcohol are not. So you will need a bar tab for that to spend extra. But the one thing to know, the pro tip is know what's uncovered so you don't end up spending extra on things that you thought were free, basically. The one thing too about the bar tab, and make sure that you use it or lose it. That is number one. That's another pro tip. The second one is not booking activities or excursions early and dining early. So dining reservations, I call it like the Hunger Games. Honestly, dining reservations are like the Hunger Games. They're fixing it. They're in the process of fixing it. It should be a better process when they're done. But fact of the matter is that they're coveted and it's like chaos. So make sure that you know when those dining reservations open up because you're going to want them. And the shore things as well. Like the most coveted shore things, you're going to make sure that you're going to want to book your shore things right when they open up. Spa treatments. They're doing a beta test right now in a couple of sailings. And basically they're trying to see if they can book it ahead. I have not been on one of those sailings. We do have some clients on there, but spa treatments you're going to want to book as soon as you get on board. So pro tip, check the event lineup ASAP and sit as close to the ship as possible on embarkation day to get on that ship's Wi-Fi, because sometimes it doesn't work when you're further away. And then you can book on the app immediately, and you can book dining too if you didn't get what you were looking for. So definitely make sure that you can get on that Wi-Fi when you're in the terminal. Now, that doesn't work for all terminals. I will say that's the Miami terminal, Barcelona, Greece, Portsmouth, San Juan. I'm not sure that'll work. Honestly, San Juan, they really just let you on the terminal and you go through because there really isn't much space to sit around there. So make sure you book your shore things and your dining. The next thing to be aware of basically is budgeting for extras on board. That is the one thing that people tend to forget. So like there are some things you're going to spend extra on, some of the fun events, but your sailor loot will cover that. So your fun onboard events like Shot for Shot, Lottery, and the Grog Walk are extra and require some extra spending. So plan for extra expenses like drinks if you want to upgrade the Wi-Fi and onboard activities so you don't get caught off guard and say, ooh, everything is included. Because it is. The big stuff is your gratuities are included. Your basic bevies are included, your basic Wi-Fi is included, and specialty dining and group fitness is included. So, but there's some extra things that are on board that might cost you a little bit, but you can use sailor loot for that. And remember, use it or lose it. That's another pro tip. The other common mistake is traveling the same day as your cruise. This is a big one. So traveling the same day as your cruise is very risky. I never, ever, 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 ever suggest that to a client. However, if you tell me that you live in Atlanta and you're super close and there's like 70 options of flights that go out, and you can get there if one cancels, I always say book the very first flight. honestly, if you're going to do this, book the very first flight out of your city. I don't recommend it at all. It's very scary, and I cannot tell you the amount of people that don't make it. So come in the night before, find a hotel. We have plenty here that we offer at Fabulous Adventures Travel. We actually have deals with a bunch of them. So come in the night before, enjoy Miami because the city is beautiful and it's super fun. So do that, and you will thank me later because also it starts your vacation earlier and it makes for a little bit more relaxing. So pro tip is obviously fly in the day before, and also book the Bright Line early. So if you're going to take the Bright Line down from Orlando or anywhere, book it early because I don't know what's going on with the Bright Line, but I feel like every day it's hitting somebody or something or doing something. And let's be honest, it's like a shark attack. No sharks are attacking people on land. So you cross the tracks when the Bright Line's coming, you're going to have some issues. But it has had some its fair share of accidents lately. So that will hold you for a time period, and then it can put you off and boarding. So you don't want to do that. The other common mistake is not separating essentials from checked luggage. So they'll actually ask you, which is kind of funny. They'll ask you when you turn in your bags, they'll say, do you have everything you need out of here? They'll ask you about your passport. So make sure your passports aren't in your bags. Make sure any medication that you need to take aren't in your bags. They will say that to you just in case A, they lose your bags, which I got to be honest, I haven't heard of that. And B, you need it ahead of time and you miss out on it. So your luggage won't be to your cabin right away, but you can go to your room immediately. So that's the one cool thing about Virgin, that as soon as you board, you get to go to your cabin immediately. So it's completely different than other cruise lines where when you board, you don't get to go right away. You have to wait for them to make the announcement, but you get to go right away, and it's super, super fun and easy and relaxing because you get to just drop your stuff off and then start your vacation, which I love. So just make sure that any essentials that you need are not in your checked luggage unless you're okay with not seeing them for a couple hours. But the pro tip is obviously, like I mentioned, keep your passport, swimsuit if you want to get started right away, medications, and any must-haves in your carry-on bag. Another common mistake is skipping events and not joining in on the experience. So I can't tell you the amount of people that I've met that are like, oh, I didn't go to Scarlet Night. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm sorry, what? You didn't make it up to the pool on Scarlet Night? So even if you don't plan on dancing with the crowd down on the pool, 100% go to deck 6, deck 16, go stand up on deck 16, look down into the pool and just observe because the vibe is phenomenal on Scarlet Night. It's one of my favorite nights. That and the PJ party. I know that it's hard when you're on travel day and the PJ party doesn't start till 10:45 and you're like, oh, I'm not making it. Make it because it is super cute. It's super fun. And honestly, you can be chill. That's the nice part. You don't even have to be in like heels and a dress. You go in your PJs. Like, what a better party is that? You just want to go and just chill and be in there. So Virgin is all about immersive entertainment. So even if you're unsure, check out the events. I really highly suggest that. So pro tip, obviously this one's self-explanatory. You don't have to participate in everything like I mentioned, but at least see what's going on because you're going to love it. It is really cool, especially Scarlet Night. Another common mistake is not, and I kind of mentioned this a couple times, not using all of your Sailor Loot and bar tab. Bar tab, as we mentioned before, can be used for coffee, smoothies, drinks, anything that is of liquid that is an extra charge on Virgin. So anything liquid of extra charge, they're going to charge you and come out of your bar tab. Sailor Loot, on the other hand, can be used for anything including bar tab. So drinks, shopping, and even, the spa and all that stuff can Sailor Loot can be used for. So again, the pro tip, which I've kind of been mentioning, is use it or lose it. Use every dollar. Don't leave any money on the table. Go buy those sunglasses in the shopping. Go buy your Birkin that I talk about, but you really can. There's not enough Sailor Loot for that. I'm totally kidding. So another common mistake is not bringing the right credentials. This actually just happened today to a client, and I'm devastated over it. I feel pretty awful about it. But make sure Virgin does require a passport. They have lightened that requirement to say that birth certificates on closed loop U.S. sailings because that's what other cruise lines do. Here at Fabulous Adventures, we really highly suggest you have a passport. Listen, get a passport. It's much easier. You have it, grab it, good, use it, good. You need it. So trust me, just get it. Then you have it. So if some random trip comes up and you're like, I want to go to Paris today, you have a passport. You don't have to worry about it. But Pro tip, obviously, take a photo also just in case, and check your requirements early so you don't get denied at boarding. So take a photo of your birth certificate, take a photo of your passport. Sometimes that will work in the US here. No guarantees on that, but sometimes it works. So that will not work to get you on a plane. I promise you that. So keep that in mind. Another common mistake is booking the wrong cabin location and cabin type based on needs. So obviously, we're here to help you. Booking with a travel agent would help you get the right cabin because we'll discuss with you exactly what you need location wise and which is best for you and your needs. So that would be our pro tip, is to book with a travel agent because we can fix your location and work with you on that. But you don't want to have a cabin that is under deck 15 or above deck 8. But I will tell you that I've actually stayed on both, and it's not terrible. It's not an absolute bust of a trip, but you can hear it. So you can hear deck chairs moving, and you can hear some things on deck 8, but not a ton. I have actually stayed on deck 8, so it wasn't too bad. The other common mistake is thinking Virgin Voyages is like other cruise lines. So this one's a rough one to kind of explain, I have to be honest, because there's a lot to it. It's not just this like, hey, they're not the same, the end. It really is not like other cruise lines. So first and foremost, you board later than most cruise lines. Your cabin's ready. There are no dining halls like we discussed earlier. But it's funny, I was on a call with a client today, and that was one of the things that she said to me. She was like, she said, I've sailed all the other cruise lines. I sailed Virgin because my friend had suggested it. I went on it, and she was like, there was some things I liked and some things I didn't. But she didn't say that she didn't like them, because then she ended up changing her wording and said that it was different. She said, it's just that it's different. And that's the way that I explain it to my clients. I'm used to it at this point. I'm used to the differences. But if you are a diehard Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Carnival, MSC, it is completely different. Virgin is an upscale luxury experience. It has like a yacht feel to it. It's very laid back, which is just like Richard Branson. So no one's in your face all the time trying to get you to book things or trying to get you to buy things or go to this art function or go buy this Rolex watch. That will not happen. You do you. You'll be on your own, strolling around going, oh, look, there's a watch shop right here. There's nobody out there trying to give you a raffle ticket to go to it. I had that story last week. So know that it's completely different in that sense. But you've got to know that going in, because I don't want you to leave going, oh, I didn't like that because it was not like your normal experience. And you could do that if you're married to these other experiences and used to the normal way of cruising. But I don't want you to feel that way, which is why I'm explaining it to you, so you know going into it, it's going to be different. The captain comes on, welcomes you on board, and you never hear from him again. And when you do hear from him again, you run and grab your life jacket because something is going wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong, something's probably going wrong, and it may not be as bad as I just, made it out to be. But when and if you do hear from him again, it has to do with something that's going wrong. He says nothing. He actually walks around in almost like plain clothes. You'll never even know that it's him. He's got like a polo on, no stripes, no nothing, no even name tag that says captain, if I remember correctly. I think it might just say his name. Jeez Louise, I can't remember. So basically, I mean, that's how laid back it is. It has this feel of like just a chill vibe. I love it. But in the same sense, there's a lot going on. So when I say chill vibe, there is a lot going on that you could do. You can do wellness, which is what I talk about all the time, or you can party like a rock star. So there are definite differences between the experiences, and I want to make sure that you know that going into it. So the pro tip is, of course, to embrace the difference. Virgin isn't a traditional cruise line, and that's why people love it, and that's why I love it. So, and my last tip of the day is, of course, book with a travel agent. That is my last tip of the day. The common mistake is you don't book with a travel agent. So I'm hearing all these things of like, well, I didn't get any sailor loot. I didn't know about this. I wish I would have known about that. Book with a travel agent that actually knows what Virgin's like, because not all travel agents are created equal with Virgin, unfortunately. And I'm not saying that to knock any TAs because we're all fabulous and wonderful. That's how I always see it. But you really have to know Virgin, the product, because of the fact that it is different, and to give out all the tips and whatnot. I will say I've been on 40 of them, and I feel like I know them front, back, sideways, and whatever, round circles, whatever you want to say. I feel like I know everything about it. So honestly, book with a travel agent. We'd love to help you at Fabulous Adventures Travel. You know, even if you have your typical travel agent and they don't even know what Virgin is about, I'd love to help you. You can always go back to your travel agent afterwards and just tell them that you want to book with a Virgin travel agent, because I highly suggest it, only because of the fact that there just is so much that's different on Virgin. So book with a travel agent. We can pick out your cabin for you, which you can't do direct on the website. And we can also offer you stay or loot that is not available on the website, and also offer you tips and tricks and whatnot. So those are the common mistakes for people that, you know, don't know Virgin and haven't booked. For those of you that have actually followed me all the time, that was probably like, oh, Samantha, I already know that because we follow you all the time. So I'm sorry that was boring for you guys, but hopefully you learned something, one little nugget. I always say to my team, whenever we do a training or whatnot, even if it's someone or a supplier that they know very well, I hope that they walk out with like even the tiniest nugget of info, because then it was all worthwhile, right? All worthwhile. With that being said, follow me on Facebook at Samantha Fabulous Adventures Travel, and then also join us at Virgin Voyages Cruise Tips and Deals on Facebook. And we'll see you next week. And I'll leave you with my favorite phrase, which is, you float our boat. We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.